and where, and yeah. And I'm excited.
No, it's back. Give it to the quarterback. No, we got the running back.
Straight off the couch.
Here are the stories we're going to be chasing today.
Well, today we're chasing Week 14 of the 2024-2025 season. Before we get too far along, though, let me bring in my broadcast partner, the ever-affable, effervescent, and possibly Canadian, Adam Weidel. Adam, how are you?
Possibly, ultimately Canadian. I'm doing great, buddy. How was your week? Actually, scratch that. Don't even. Yeah. I'm not even going to ask.
Yeah.
We saw the games this weekend, and we all know who your team is. Let's start off with Thursday night NFC North game.
Actually, that was a much better game than I expected it to be. The Packers went into Detroit, and they took it down to the wire. Final score was 31 Packers, 34 Lions, and I mean, I think Dan Campbell must have insurance on his testicles at this point in time.
But he's got, so legend has it, he has an assistant that totes his balls around for him because they're so big. Calling for a fourth down conversion at their own 30 early in the game.
He went for it on fourth down. He went for it on fourth down.
Lions fans were just losing their shit. They're just why?
They were. Chris was beside himself. He thought they were going to lose the game. They went for it on fourth down 5 times and got it 4 of them.
Yeah. So a lot of the reffing in this game was definitely questionable on both sides. I'm not going to say like it favored the Lions or the Packers. This one could have went either way. But there was a lot of missed calls on this one. It was just like, kind of felt like the Lions got the Chiefs treatment on the reffing calls at some point. But you know what?
When we get to the Chiefs thing, remind me to talk about their offensive tackles.
It was an exciting game. I think you and I called it last week. We said that it was going to go down to a field goal because both these teams are pretty hot right now. The Lions held this game in the first half. They legitimately held the Packers back. And the Packers didn't get going until the second half, and it was a shootout after that. It was ridiculous.
It really
Packers
was.
scored 2 touchdowns in like less than 5 minutes. It was ridiculous in the second half.
When Goff threw up that interception, I get a text from my buddy Chris, and it's just like we're fucked. We're fucked. I go, dude, it's come on. It's one interception. Just wait and see what happens.
There's lots of football left, bud.
Yeah.
If the Kansas City Chiefs have taught me anything, the game doesn't get decided until the last 2 minutes of the game.
That's true. And let's go ahead and move on to the Sunday games. The first one we had in the noon/1 o'clock window. The one I wanted to watch, the Cleveland Browns go into Pittsburgh against the Steelers. The Steelers wind up doubling them. It was 14-27 Steelers at the end of the game. I thought it was going to be a lot closer than it wound up being.
Yeah, this one was extremely disappointing. I know that you pointed it out on our Straight Off the Couch Facebook page when you do your little fun videos and stuff, and you throw some stuff out there every once in a while and saying, I don't know how Adam feels about this game because he's Canadian. I don't know what that has to do with anything. But, I'm watching this one and I'm just like, I'm saying to the wife, don't look.
Oh, that's right. She's a Browns fan. Yeah, that would have been.
Yeah, she's a total. I don't know why, but you know what? I support it.
You do you. The first quarter and a half, it looked like it was going to be competitive. At halftime, it
was very close. Yes.
Yeah. At halftime, I thought, well, this game could go either way. In the second half, the Browns just didn't show up at all. So
So the Browns have not won back-to-back divisional games against the Steelers since 1988 at this point.
Yeah, that's
Browns
too bad.
finished this game 3-10, I guess they are now, and flip the script, 10-3 for the Steelers, looking like a legitimate playoff team.
And let's move along. We've got the next game up on the schedule. New Orleans Saints.
The New England Saints.
The New Orleans Saints flying into the Meadowlands to play the Giants, and the Giants just gianted all over themselves. So that was the Saints 14, not New England 11.
So this game was a snoozer. I tried to engage in it as much as I could, and man, there was I think it was 6-3 at the half.
Yes,
it was.
It was ridiculous.
There was no points on the board. There was nothing to unless you're a gambling person, somebody that has money on the game. There's nothing to watch here.
And then we moved on to the next game, which is another East Coast battle. The New England. Jeez, what's on my fucking head right now? The New York Jets.
New England's on your mind. They were on bye, and I think they still lost this week.
The New York Jets go all the way down to Miami, and actually that was a fairly competitive game until halfway through the fourth quarter.
Yeah, so this one was pretty tight. They were tied. They go into overtime, and for some reason, the Dolphins figured out how to use John O. Smith at the end of the game. And he goes for, I'm going to say 65 yards. It just felt like he was getting the ball every play.
They figured out how to use him finally, yeah.
Yeah, they figured out how to use him in overtime, and Dolphins end up winning this game 32-26. Here in the, Adam off the couch house, we were just cheering for the Jets to lose because fuck the Jets and fuck anything in New York at this point.
Aaron Rodgers post-game press conference. He's done. He's done with the whole New York vibe. I think he's at this point in time. He's actually politicking for himself to be fired. He's going up to the ownership. He's going, "Hey, can I get fired? What do I got to do to get fired here?"
He's like, "Can I go to Minnesota, please?"
Because that's the way it goes. And then let's take it to another next noon 1 o'clock game. The Jacksonville Jaguars go all the way down to Tennessee, all the way across to Tennessee. Jaguars win that one 10-6. Another not a very exciting football game.
No, both these teams are now 3-10 after that affair. It was hard to watch. It was definitely a hard to watch game. I was rooting for the first team that got a touchdown. That's kind of how I felt. It was 6-3 for the majority of this game.
That's unfortunate. I don't mind. I don't mind a good defense.
It was a divisional game, so they're going to play each other pretty hard. But
I don't mind a good defensive struggle. I really don't. If it's two really good defenses performing at a high level, I don't mind that. That's not what happens in Jacksonville.
This was two shitty teams trying to get a win.
They're just playing out the streak now, right? Yeah, they're just playing out the streak. Let's move right along to another really good football game for a while, at least. The Atlanta Falcons go into Minneapolis and play the Vikings in Minnesota. And the first half was pretty competitive. In the second half, the Vikings just opened up a lead and basically just skull-fucked Kirk Cousins.
Oh, yeah. So Kirk Cousins is still helping Minnesota win these games. This game was tied at 21 at the half. And the score ends up being 42-21 Minnesota at the end. Minnesota, moves on with a record of 11-2. They look amazing. Justin Jefferson, Jesus Christ, the guy can pull in a ball from anywhere. You could throw it up in the middle of the air and he's not even anywhere near it, and he goes and just grabs it out of the sky.
And they're still looking for a little respect. They just want somebody to respect him a little bit, and it's just not happening for him. So
that actually drops the Falcons to 6-7. They were 6-6 coming in. They had the lead in their division. They don't anymore.
No, that's our boy Baker, but we'll get to that in a second. The next one up on the list, we have the Carolina Panthers going into Philadelphia to play the Eagles. That game, the 16-22 score doesn't reflect how close that game was until the fourth quarter. The Panthers were playing pretty good football.
Well, they played pretty good football last week against the Chiefs. Remember, the Chiefs had to pull one out of their ass to make it.
Yeah.
And I think it was 27-27 or something like that. Before the Chiefs could make a end game play. I think they went into overtime actually. Panthers are actually playing really good football at this time of year. Wrong time of year to play good football when you're a 3-10 team. But
well, they're playing for pride at this point in time. You know,
the Eagles. I'm kind of questioning them at this point. We've talked about the Eagles in the past and how they have a post-Thanksgiving hangover.
Well, the big difference is last year the defense for the Eagles was 22nd or 23rd, and this year they're number 1. So they're kind of leaning on the defense a little bit, which is fine. That's what you kind of want to do in the playoffs anyways, lean on your defense. So I think they'll be okay.
Eagles are now 11-2. I believe they are second in the division behind.
Yeah, they have if the playoffs were today, they'd be the number 2 seed, right?
Yeah, they're the number 2 seed, even though the Vikings are 11-2 as well.
And that'll bring us to our late slate of games. We have the Las Vegas Raiders. What's wrong with the Las Vegas Raiders going to Tampa Bay to play the Buccaneers. Buccaneers 28-13. Not a big surprise by that score because the Raiders have been struggling all year.
Yeah, Raiders don't look good, and they made a game of this. Let's not throw the Raiders under the bus at this point. They made this game interesting. Baker made some plays. Mike Evans is healthy. He's doing this thing. 28-13 is the final score. Buccaneers take the lead in their division, NFC South. They're 7-6. I honestly believe that. By the way, Raiders are 2-11. That's awful, but I honestly believe that a team that's 8-9 in the NFC South can win this division at this point.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. That NFC South
we've seen it before.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Well, let's keep in mind the first year Tom Brady was there, they were 9-8, won the division, and went on to the Super Bowl. So
right. And won it.
So just you can't knock them out until they're completely out. The next late window game we have is Seattle Seahawks and the Cardinals, an NFC West playoff implicating game. Seahawks go in there and take care of business pretty handily against the Cardinals. 30-18, Seahawks.
So this one looked competitive in the beginning, and then the Seahawks just opened it up, and there was no touching them. We got the Cardinals now at 6-7. Seahawks are 8-5. They lead the division. It definitely looks like the Seahawks are probably going to win this division. But we still got 4 weeks left.
And that brings us to another NFC West implicating game. The Chicago Bears go into San Francisco and basically take the day off.
Man, we just shit the bed on that call, didn't we?
I thought it was, I was looking for a little emotional bump. The Bears came out flat. The defensive play caller was calling some really vanilla coverages. Nothing going after Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy has a really good, quick, fast release, and he was getting way too much time to throw the ball. And then on the offensive side of the ball, the Bears didn't score a point in the first half.
So I actually had more drinks than the Bears had yardage in the first half of that game.
Yeah, it was the first half was just utterly embarrassing. There's no defense for it. And at this point in time, as a Bears fan, I mean, it's lather, rinse, repeat. Every 3 or 4 years, we're doing this shit all over again, and it's driving me crazy. So that brings us to...
So this game is 38 49ers, 13 Bears. 49ers improved to 6-7 after a 3-game lose streak, and the Bears are just they're just bearing it. I don't know what's going on in Chicago, but
they're in free fall.
They're 4-9.
They're in free fall.
It's you might as well lose the rest of the season because you're not going to compete in your division at this point, and get a good draft pick to help Caleb.
And our last 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock game is the Bills and the Rams. This was a really close football game. This one went down to the wire. Josh Allen put up over 350 yards through the air. He ran for 1 or 2 touchdowns, and he still lost to the Rams 44-42.
Yeah, so this one was a mind fuck for me because the Rams, I've been watching them all season because they're kind of in the late window and they're in prime time and stuff because they're in LA. So
right, the West Coast time slot, right.
So I've been watching them, and they won one game with 5 field goals, not a passing touchdown or a running touchdown, no touchdowns whatsoever, just a field goal game.
Yep.
They win with. Matthew Stafford doesn't seem to be able to find the end zone. I'm thinking this is a Bills lock 100%. Bills walk into LA and Jesus Christ. Josh Allen throws for 3, runs for 3. It's the first guy in the NFL to ever do it. And they still lose to the Rams that couldn't score 44-42. That drops the Bills to 10-3 and elevates the Rams to 7-6. There's some real playoff, things involved here. We still got 4 weeks left. Somebody can shit the bed any day, but I'm looking at you, Arizona. This game was a 2-pointer.
Somebody can shit the bed. I'm looking at you, Arizona. And that brings us to Sunday Night Football. We have the Chargers going into Kansas City to play the Chiefs. This was a really good football game, really competitive, really close. Jim Harbaugh had the Chargers prepared. The Chiefs' vaunted defense didn't perform very well. And can we talk about the tackles for the Chiefs? That right tackle is moving every snap before the ball is taken off the ground. Every snap.
Oh my God! Every snap.
He's rocking. He's rocking back when Patrick Mahomes is leaving the fucking huddle, and he's rocking back and getting ready for that pass rush.
Yeah, so this one was like super interesting. Obviously, the refs are not going to call the false start on every play. Chiefs come out and dominate the first half, and Chargers come out and dominate the second half, and somehow, don't know how, comes down to the last 2 minutes again. I don't know if there's any conspiracy theorists out there, but
they got to make the point spread. That's what it is. That's the conspiracy. It's all about points now.
I think the point spread was higher than 19-17. That was the final score. But yeah, Chargers led this game 17-16 in the second half until the last 2 minutes, and and
the Chiefs on their third string kicker win it with a field goal bouncing off the upright to win the game.
Oh, the doinking in was just like I felt my heart fall. Like I was just like, you know what? It's close enough. He's probably gonna get it, and then it doinks. And I'm just like, oh my God, they might. Oh, it went in.
Yeah, and statistically, they're the worst team ever to have this record in the history of the league. They're winning everything by 1 point and 2 points and field goals at the last second. And then there's a news story I read today that claims that Patrick Mahomes went to the sideline and said to Andy Reid, no, we're going for this on 4th down. I'll make something happen. And fuck if he did. He did make something happen.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. We can run all the conspiracy theories that we want to, but for fuck's sakes, like, just let them lose one and show them that they're fucking humans. Like they're a moral team. Like, like they're superhuman at this point. It's but what 15 games in a row they've won now.
But
something like that, it's like stupid.
And they're all one-score games, and they're squeaking
One-score.
They're squeaking by really by the hair of their teeth, and you can do that in the regular season. Playoff football, you can't squeak by on your hair of your teeth. You got to go out there and take care of business. And so far, they really haven't done a good job of taking care of business. So
what do you think come playoff time? Because they're obviously going to have the first round bye unless they have like a shitty next 4 weeks, which I don't see happening because they have a really soft schedule compared to Buffalo, who's the closest to them, who has a pretty tough schedule.
Right. I don't know how it's going to break down. But I would not be surprised if the Chiefs do get into the playoffs and flounder and not get knocked out during the playoffs. Because, like I said, you can't do what they've done throughout the regular season and win in the playoffs. You can't be that wishy-washy. We're just going to we'll ramp it up when we need it, because the other team is already ramped up.
You know what's really funny is that they were in Arrowhead, and this was the first game that fucking Swiftie didn't show up because she was finishing her last leg of her Eras tour.
Yeah.
So, like, they didn't, like, it wasn't because, Taylor was on the screen or she was in the building or anything like that. Like, they just legitimately won the game.
Yeah,
and like, a really weird way.
Absolutely.
And there's been a lot of weird ways for them to win games this year, but they still win. And I don't know what to make of it.
They have figured out all the weird, unique ways to win football this year. That's for sure. And that brings us to our last night's game. The Bengals and the Cowboys. Joe Burrow finally gets a win under his belt, but oh my God, who wanted to play defense in that first quarter? Absolutely nobody.
Oh, the first quarter was absolutely abysmal. For defense, it was like nobody wanted to do anything. It was just we'll just throw it down the field. We'll run it down the field. We can do anything that we want. Nobody was stopping anybody.
No.
It was just, and we've said this on our past episodes, the Bengals defense is absolute shit.
They're horrendous. Yeah, they're horrendous.
When Joe Burrow is throwing for 5 touchdowns in the game and they're still losing, that's on the defense. Like, offense has done their job. Last night, man, Bengals get to 5-8, beating the Cowboys 27-20. Cowboys are now 5-8. Good on them, though. They fucked up huge by... that punt. Oh,
that was terrible. And then
it was the worst thing that they could have done.
And when that happened, did you see that Micah Parsons left the field? He was like, "Fuck it, I'm done."
Oh yeah, he just walked away.
Yeah. He's like, "I can't handle this anymore." And it was funny because in the pregame show they were showing him, and he was like, "No, man, Jerry and I are tight. He's my boy. Jerry and I are tight." I wonder how tight he and Jerry are today, because Jerry won't cotton that.
So. The big thing that the commentators were saying is like, next year, who was it? It was Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, I guess, right?
Yes, right, because it was on Monday Night Football, right? Yeah.
So Joe Buck was just like, I think the big thing you got to do, Troy, is you got to re-sign Micah Parsons. And then he walks off, and I was just like, "That's funny."
And they invested so much in CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott.
Yeah,
I don't know how much money they have left to give Micah Parsons.
I don't think they have a ton of money left, but they're not wrong. They definitely do have to sign him. It's a big deal. If the Cowboys want to actually be a competitive team, they need to have all-stars on both offense and defense. You can't just be like, you know what? We're going to go all offense, and we're just going to get like some regular college Joes.
Well, and they have
here as defense.
They have they've also got to address Mike McCarthy. He's playing on the last year of his contract, and are you going to keep him? Are you going to move on? What are you going to do there? So that'll be fun to watch.
He's not a bad coach, though. Like, he's not a bad coach. I just think he's hand-tied by the CEO, general manager, president, whatever else you want to fucking call him. The guy that's the old man, the crypt keeper that's sitting in the fucking booth. every week, I think makes the final decision. I don't think the coach has any chance with a guy like that that's playing 3 different positions in the organization to make them any better.
Nope.
I'm sorry.
I agree. The one thing that doesn't change is Jerry Jones, and they can't seem to get over that playoff hump. So Jerry Jones has got to be the cause.
They're not even going to make the playoffs this year. They're absolutely not.
Nope, they're not. And he's knocking at the door. He's ready to come in. Here he is, our fashion expert. He likes to talk about not the X's and O's, but the oohs and ahs. Here he is. He's Coach Blackwell. How are you, Coach?
Hi, Terry. Hi, Adam. How's the week going? I heard some teams did shit and some teams did great.
Yeah, but that's not... The record isn't what's important. It's how do they look, Coach, and who looked great this week?
Unfortunately, I'm going to say there wasn't a lot of hot looks this week. There was only a couple. Arizona came out this week, and they did their whole full blackout. They did the black helmets, the black shirts, the black pants. They looked fantastic, but they couldn't finish it.
No, they could not.
I'm so sorry.
No, they could not. Who else? Anybody honorable mention here?
So Cincinnati, they looked a little different this week. Orange, black, and white. I think it's the first time that I've ever seen it. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it, but they had the orange helmets, the black tops, and the white pants. It was a little different look.
It was a good look. I like the look.
So one thing I'd like to say in that Cincinnati game, Dallas came out in a full whiteout, like super iced out, not old school, white helmets, white tops, white pants. They look great. New logo, not old school logo. So not to be confused with their Thanksgiving look. Minnesota comes out full purple, head to toe, purple to purple to purple, and I loved it.
Purple is a nice color, especially up there in Minnesota where they can, pay tribute to Prince when they're doing it. So that's good.
The only honorable mention that I have this week is Tampa Bay comes out in full pewter and red, pewter pants, pewter helmet, pewter or red top. Sorry, not pewter. Pewter hat, pewter pants, red top. Looked fantastic. I think this is the first time that we've seen that this year.
I agree. All right, Coach. Well, get along with your life, sir. And I know you're out there game planning for I think Paris Fashion Week is coming up, and you're probably getting ready for that, right?
Oh, it's so busy this time of year. And you know what? I heard from Adam this week, and he said Randy Rojas says that Adam and I sound the same, and I think that's totally false. But whatever.
I'm glad you and Adam were talking off microphone, because that didn't happen for a long time. So he's you know what, we've got over our differences. And by the way, your top this week looks fantastic. It makes your pecs just pop out. I'm surprised I have pecs. All right, Coach. Thanks for stopping by. We'll see you next week.
TTFN.
And there he goes, sauntering out the front door of my studio here. That brings us to week 15. In 2 days, we have another West Coast showdown, the Rams and San Francisco. This is a national game. The way the Rams performed last week, man.
Yeah, this is a hard one to pick. Wow, dude. I don't know what to think. 49ers came out. We thought Chicago should be a fairly easy win with how bad the 49ers are banged up. But they've taken this like next man up kind of mentality and just kind of dived into it and just next man up. Like, let's go. And they embarrassed the Bears, and the Rams kind of embarrassed the Buffalo Bills at the same time.
Yeah, I I know I have to pick one.
I'll tell you what. You pick your favorite. They're going into San Francisco. You pick one, and I will take the other.
I'll go Niners, I guess.
Okay, so they're going into San Francisco. You're going to take Niners, so I guess I get the Rams. Fuck, I didn't want the Rams.
Well, then I'll take the Rams.
You're going to take the Rams?
If you want the Niners, I'll take the Rams.
Okay. This is a coin flip game to me.
It really is. The way both these teams are playing right now, and it's that time of year that they both kind of ratcheted up a notch. So, yeah.
And it's a divisional game,
too. It's a divisional game, yeah.
It's huge. So you're taking the Rams. I'll take the 49ers. I didn't even want to choose this game, but we have to.
We have to. And let's go ahead and move on to Sunday, our noon and 1 o'clock slate of games. Commanders at Saints. Commanders are playing a lights out football. I don't think that's going to be a difficult one to.
I don't know. Derek Carr's probably out for this game. He got the left shoulder injury on the weekend. So, and Jaden Daniels is still playing lights out football. They have something to play for. Most of that team's healthy. I think Commanders by 2 touchdowns.
And that brings us to Chiefs at Browns. I mean, the Chiefs are probably going to win this, but let's face it, Jameis Winston is just fun to watch.
He wasn't much fun to watch against the Steelers on the weekend, but
no, he wasn't. That's a fair point.
They're walking into Cleveland. If anybody can upset the Chiefs,
Wouldn't be surprised.
Betting on the Browns to do it.
Wouldn't be
because
surprised.
The Browns are only playing spoilers at this point. Chiefs. I mean, I have to take the Chiefs. Every week we talk about this, and you're just like, are you really taking the other team against the Chiefs? And I'm like, yes. I feel like somebody has to upset the Chiefs at some point, but I can't bet against them at this point. I just can't.
You can't. That brings us to the next noon, 1 o'clock game. It's the Bengals at the Titans. I think Cincinnati wins this one pretty easily. The Titans aren't playing very good football, and Joe Burrow has been putting up points like crazy, so I think that's the way to go there.
This is the biggest MVP that's not going to be an MVP in the league, like MVP candidate.
His defense is actually costing him MVP.
Yeah, it definitely. Like, if they were a winning team right now, I think Joe Burrow would definitely be an MVP candidate.
That brings us.
It's a 5-8 Bengals team against a 3-10 Titans team.
Yeah,
come on.
So that brings us to Dolphins at Texans. I think I'd go Houston on that one because the Dolphins just don't travel well.
No, the Dolphins don't travel well, but they are kind of grinding away at that, wild card. Hopefully, wild card, and the Texans have been coasting. So I don't know. I think Texans coming off a bye are probably going to be really good at home. I think Texans probably take this one handsomely.
And that brings us to the next game, the Baltimore Ravens going into New York to play the Giants. I don't see the Giants having a chance there.
Okay, so fresh Ravens team, they're coming off a bye too. There were 6 teams on bye last week. New York Giants, I mean, they're fuck sakes. There was a like a biplane that flew over the stadium that says "Fix this dumpster fire" with a banner behind it on the weekend. And neither New York team won, by the way.
You know what? It's surprising with the way the Giants and the Jets' luck has been going that plane didn't run out of fuel just as it went over the...
just right, and just dove right into center field. You're like, right into the NFL logo.
Right, yeah.
Like 2-11 team versus an 8-5 Ravens team that have a pretty... I mean, I think they're in the playoff race right now.
They are.
But they have a chance to improve, up their seed if they can. I think Ravens, Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson.
Yeah,
versus who does the Giants have?
Yeah, I can't tell you one player on their team right now. That's how bad they are. That brings us on to our next noon/1 o'clock game. The AFC battle, the Jets going into the Jaguar, both these teams are just they're both just playing out the streak right now. I'm not even going to pick because I don't have to.
Yeah, neither of us have to. I think the Jets get their 4th win of the season here, though. The Jags aren't playing very good. They're not going to have Trevor Lawrence. He looked like he got fucking smashed pretty hard on the weekend.
Yep.
It was an egregious hit. I think the Jets finally feel good about themselves at 4-10 at the end of this game.
And
Jags haven't looked good all season.
No, they haven't. That brings us to our next game, an NFC battle. The Cowboys going into Carolina. The way the Panthers have been playing lately, I bet they're going to give the Cowboys a game and probably pull off a win here.
So this is kind of one of those like who cares games.
Yeah, but I'd like to see the Panthers.
Nobody cares unless except for Cowboys fans. Do you see how the Cowboys fans treated the Mexican announcer last night? It was like his 300th game.
Right.
And he came out and he was like, Monday Night Football, and they booed him.
Yeah, that's it's Texas.
And I was just like, oh, I guess the border between Texas and Mexico is pretty heated right now. I had no idea what was going on, but you know what? I hope the Panthers win. I don't really care about this game at all. I mean, it's them boys versus the Panthers that have looked really good.
Recently, they've really dialed it in late. Yeah, so I'd like to see them
last 3 games they've looked really good.
I'd like to see them go ahead and pull that one out. Yeah.
Yeah, they can't finish games. I'd love to see the Panthers win this game.
And then we have another 425 Buccaneers at Chargers. That has the potential to be a really good football game. Both teams are playing really well. Defenses are playing really high football. I don't want to pick that one because I can see it going either way.
Yeah, it's definitely a coin flip game. For me, I want to see Baker. I want to see Baker eat.
I want to see Baker bake.
He's got Mike Evans back. He's got Bucky Irving that's like just tearing up yards. There's so much exciting things on both sides of this ball. Chargers are overcoming, a couple losses. A couple sad losses too. It's just like they're last minute. It's it's Harbaugh's first year coaching this team, and he's a winning coach. He's still got a winning team, but I think the Bucs take this by, I'm gonna say 5.
Okay.
Weird number.
For our next game, we have the Colts going into Denver to play the Broncos. I think this one has the Broncos all over it. The Broncos are a much better team at this point in the season.
So, divisional game, playoff implications for both teams. 8-5 Broncos team versus a 6-7 Colts team. I don't think the Colts have enough depth to get past Bo Nix and the Broncos defense. So Broncos 100%.
The Colts don't have the ponies.
Ding, ding, ding.
We have the Patriots going all the way down to Arizona to play the Cardinals. I don't think New England has the punch to go that far across country and take a win against the Cardinals right now. The Cardinals aren't playing great football, but they're not playing bad football either.
So I disagree.
Okay.
They're coming off a bye week. They're resetting. This is their 4th win of the season.
You've said that the last 3 weeks, but okay.
Dude, they have to get 4 wins. Like I called it before the season even started. I said they were a 4-win team this season, and they have to get to 4 just to make my prediction come true. Anything after that is gravy. Patriots win by 6.
The last 2 3:00 games both have playoff implications. We have the Pittsburgh Steelers going into Philadelphia to play the Eagles. That could be a really good football game. They're both really playing pretty well, play pretty good football. Like I said, the Eagles have the number 1 defense in the league right now, but the Steelers' offense seems to get it done when they need to get it done. I don't want to pick this one either.
No, it's totally a coin flip game. Why wasn't this game flexed into a primetime game?
That's an excellent question, because once we get to the 7 o'clock games on Monday night, you'll understand why I said that's an excellent question. The other one, the last 3 o'clock, 3:25, 4:25 start, that should have been flexed into prime time as well. Buffalo Bills going into Detroit to play the Lions.
Should a 10-3 Bills team coming off a tough loss in LA, a Lions team that just squeaked out a win against the Green Bay Packers, both super fucking high scoring games, like 80 points on the goddamn board, both teams, both times.
Both those 3:25 games should have been flexed to Monday night. I'm sorry.
They should have been flexed. Like, we've got a 10-3 Bills team versus a 12-1 Lions team. Okay, it's AFC versus NFC, but super playoff implications depending on who wins these games. Why aren't these flexed into primetime?
Yep, I don't know. And you can't tell me it's because of the conference, because one of the Monday night games is AFC versus NFC. With Sunday night,
right.
The Sunday night game, this has playoff implications for both these teams. The Packers going all the way to Seattle to play the Seahawks. At this point in time, I'd have to go with football syphilis. I think the Packers are going to take that game.
Yeah, so this is where we differentiate, because I got Seahawks all the way.
Okay, all right. And that
I think the Seahawks are a better defensive team. I think they're going to stop Jordan Love. You're going to take the Packers. I can't believe you're going to take the Packers. Are we getting that on record right now?
Yeah,
you're taking the Packers?
I know, but I just, the way they're playing, and they have, like I said, they're football syphilis. They just hang around, and they're going to hang around, and I think they're going to take the Seahawks. It moves us to Monday night. We have 2 games Monday night. We have one at 7/8 and one at 7:30/8:30. The 7 o'clock game, 8 o'clock game, the Chicago Bears going to Minneapolis to play the Vikings. I don't think that's much of a. I think the Vikings are going to win that one handily.
Yeah, it's Vikings all the way for both of us. The Bears have nothing in the tank. We've seen it week in and week out. I called them to win easily against a banged up 49ers team, and the 49ers put up like 40 some odd points on them. It was stupid.
Yeah, and that brings us to the last game. We have the Atlanta Falcons going out to Las Vegas to play the Raiders. Is this Kirk Cousins gets healthy game, or is this the Raiders rise up and win one more? I don't know. I'm going to go Falcons just because they have a better record.
So they're going into Las Vegas, and the Raiders have kind of this kind of end of season, like, yeah, we suck, but we can win games kind of vibe. And I kind of feel like the Raiders are just going to like eat. I don't know why. Okay. I just feel like the Raiders are going to eat. You're going to take the Falcons. I'll take the Raiders. Why not?
Okay.
Because, like, who cares at this point, right?
That's about where I'm at.
Looking at our stats right now, you're like way ahead of me, by the way. But I'm over 500, so I'm okay with that. You are 33 wins in the 50 games that we've played in prime time this year. You're 33 wins, 17 losses, and I am 26 wins, 24 losses, and we've taken some differences. Why are we doing double Monday night headers on? I don't know. At this late in the season,
but honestly, both those games could have been flexed for the Bills, Lions, Steelers, Eagles. Both those games could have been flexed because that's.
I mean, so those are 2 huge games that have major playoff implications, even if they are, different conferences.
Yeah, and Falcons Raiders is a different conference, so don't tell me that was the reason why. I don't know. All right.
It fucks me up every week when I see these schedules, and then I see them flex out something like, I think Bengals Cowboys was flexed out, wasn't it? It was like, oh, we're gonna.
It was.
Yeah. So like, why are we seeing that game when there's like better games available, especially so close? We're 75% through the season. We've got 4 weeks left until playoffs.
Yeah, 4 weeks left of regular season football, and then we have the most wonderful time of the year, the playoffs. And
it's your favorite. It's your favorite time of the year. It's not my favorite time of the year. I mean, I enjoy it. I love it too. But
yeah, I love the.
It
NFL
just means that
man.
we're coming to a close when, and I like talking to you every week. So
you could just give me a call.
You're like, hey, what are you doing?
Adam, where can the boys and girls find you at?
Hey, Terry, I'm going to call you every week and say, hey, what are you doing with football? Because I'm lost. So, guys and girls and kids and other people that
cats and
listen
dogs and monkeys and
cats and dogs, whatever. If you got opposable thumbs, you can find us on Facebook.com. Straight Off the Couch. Terry puts up some awesome videos every week. I get a giggle out of it. He kind of shits on me sometimes, and he shits on the teams in the league, and it's fun to watch. He doesn't shit on anybody exclusively. He just likes to shit on things, which is fine. I mean, unless you're a Packers fan, you're not going to take offense to it. But you can find us there. You can find us on Linktree, Straight Off the Couch. And we're also anywhere there is podcasts. So you can get us on I don't think the Google anymore, but you can get us on like Spotify, Apple, we're even on the YouTube, on the tubes of you. But yeah, check us out wherever you get your podcasts. I can be found at Adam Off the Couch on X or on the Gram. So if you just want to follow what's going on in my life or whatever, you can check me out there. I do post a lot of football stuff. I'm not gonna lie. Where can they find you, Terry?
You can find me on X at TREMUP. That's at TREMUP. And Instagram at Tear'emUpTerry. That's at Tear'emUpTerry on the gram. For my broadcast partner, the ever affable and effervescent, and he puts the in Canada, it's Adam Weidel. Everybody have a good week. Enjoy the games. Be safe. God bless. Bye-bye, everybody.
We'll see you next week.
Oops.